Good evening, good evening, good evening. I want to welcome you to tonight's edition of Yes You with Friends. This is Regina L. Stillman, your spiritual thought leader, and I am so glad to have you here on this fine day. Today is Sunday, May the 2nd, in the year 2021, and it's a great day to be alive. I don't know about you, but it is happening right now. It is happening right here on Yes You with Friends. That being said, I want to introduce my two friends that are with me on tonight. Jonna and Rhonda are in the house. Talk to me, y'all. We'll start with Rhonda first because I got a surprise for you and a nice little treat. And then we'll go to Jonna and we'll go from there. Good evening, Sheila Miles, and good evening, Mel Holiday. Love y'all. Go right ahead, Rhonda. Tell me what's going on in your world today.
Hey, everybody. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. It's all God.
Yes.
Not a lot of things going on happening this. I mean, other than COVID, the cases are going up, but other than that, everything's been pretty good. So I've been working a lot. Been working a lot of overtime. Whoa. Yet the check is on the way.
Yes. Check, check,
The
check.
check is on the way. It's happening. I am a billionaire.
There you go. There you go. Stacey already
So
prophesied it.
that's it. That's it. But it was a pretty good week. Just staying on top of things. I'm staying on top of, we've been having some issues with our jail. So we're staying on top of making sure that all the inmates are vaccinated. We're even working on the homeless.
Wow. That's good.
Right.
Very good.
The homeless. And, they, unfortunately, they're everywhere. I mean, there are some
Yes.
hot spots that we go to, but they're everywhere. So trying to reach them all is a task.
Yes.
But we're working on it. So we're trying our best. We're having clinics pop up everywhere. No need to make an appointment. Just show up and just get your shot. So we're chopping them down bit by bit, but we're working on it.
That's good. That's good. I heard right before I came in, they're saying that vaccinations are down like 25-30%, and they have like 500 million or however many left, and nobody is ordering them. Nobody's taking them. They're just sitting there. So I'm glad to hear that you all are really knocking yourselves out, and particularly with the homeless and those that I think a lot of times get forgotten. So I'm loving that. I'm loving that. Kudos to Fort Smith and Sebastian County, because y'all all right. I'm gonna tell you what, y'all are all right. Well, Tyrone, somebody wasn't expecting you to be here because
I saw.
Mel was like, "We're gonna do a little bashing today." So you done put it, and you know how I know you saw it. I saw your eyes when they were.
Right.
You were cocked and loaded, like ready to have it all out
Right.
there. Okay, well, tell me what's going on in your world today, Tyrone.
Well, it's been a pretty, pretty great week. Here, even in Texas, the vaccines, really seeing personally, I'm seeing people standing in really long lines. I rode past the mall on Saturday and there's lines of people in line to get the vaccinations. Just going into like our pharmacies and seeing, lines of people in line to get the vaccination. So hopefully that it's working.
Yes.
Um, I really don't know what our plan is here for the homeless. That was a big concern for me as far as because everything is like by appointment. Make an appointment. You have to make an appointment to get the vaccine and this, that, and the other. Even with my primary care, I had to make an appointment. But there is that large population of people, the homeless,
Yes.
our elderly, or even our people who just don't have access to, the internet and having those resources. So I don't know what we're doing here in Dallas to um, conquer that, but that is something that I really want to look into because we have to make sure that everyone has access to the vaccine. And of course, like you just said, they're speaking of tons of vaccines out there that people just
Yes.
aren't getting.
Yes.
And I'm sure I know there's a large population of people who don't have access to it. But like I said, here in Texas, the vaccines are going up. We have some crazy things going on with our president and governor and all that type of stuff. But we're gonna work. That's Texas.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But Other than that, my week was amazing. Got to spend the week with some amazing people, some of my most favorite people, and
Yes.
just fellowship and be together and converse and just enjoy each other and build each other up through the hard times. So
Yes.
I would say I had an amazing week.
Yes to all of the above. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Um, even on, I'm gonna throw this in on the COVID-19. Even as you're talking about making the appointments and this and that and the other, they're also identifying that a lot of the people are taking the first shot, but they're not going back for the second. Have you all known some people that are doing that are refusing to go back and get that second shot?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got an uphill battle, Saints. We got an uphill battle. But again, we're knocking them away a little bit at a time. Just chip. Good afternoon and good evening to Stacy 546. So good to have you here, as well as SK8843. Thank you all for coming on in the chat today. And to everybody else that's not in my chat, I want to welcome you as well. You're definitely welcome to come in the chat and share wherever you are, or you can just monitor and audit where you are. It's up to you, but you're definitely welcome to join us and talk and chat on this fine evening. That brings us around to Jonna, who has had a nonstop day already. And so tell us a little bit what's going on with you, dear.
Well, this week has been interesting, to say the least. We're still chipping away last 4 weeks of school, but we had no internet a lot of time this week, so that was really aggravating. I spoke in dual languages all week, and I enjoyed it. It really helped, and
yes,
and that's that. And anyway, other than that, it's been just busy. The girls are doing the same thing. Cases are still going up here, but
yes,
we have some clinics around that are starting to gear towards the children 16 and up, and they're moving slow, but they are moving.
Yes.
So that, understandably, it's tough for parents to sign off on that, not knowing, but they are moving, so that's a good sign. Other than that, it's been
gotcha. And it's happening. It's happening.
Yes.
We're gonna keep coming back with it's happening. That being said, one of the things that she did today, I'm going to give you a little taste and a little highlight of her daughter. Her daughter is, how old is she, dear?
She is 12.
She is 12 years old, and usually every year my mom and I in the past have enjoyed going to her daughter's recital. And so I got a little bit of that beautiful bean footage on tonight. And so with her permission, we're going to lay out a little bit of that for you and let you hear. He's got the whole world in his hands. Y'all enjoy it. This is Jonna's daughter.
Oh.
Yes, she has skills. Come on and give it up. That is Jada White. Oh, yes. Beautiful job, Jada. Beautiful job. So that is your little flavor on it. Did y'all see? She had my head rocking and everything. I was like, girl, you better go. I was getting ready to start hollering. Y'all better be glad I wasn't there because I've been clapping and everything. You know, you get that people in the audience, you'd be like, okay, tone it down just a little. You be like, Yeah. She did a great job. Are you the proud mama?
I am. That's my baby.
Oh,
She is my. I had the child, but she belongs to the galactic supervisor. I just need to throw that out there, and y'all need to tell the galactic supervisor that she needs to participate in raising her kids because I'm tired. I'm tired of it.
Now, Jonna, can you, if you will, can you give us a little flavor of what she was doing the other day on the keys when she was going in?
Yes. Anybody who goes to the Rebels house will know this face. And she does it all the time. I just never really paid attention. I was like, wait a minute. You done adopted that from the Rebels house.
Listen. I love it. I'm just eating it up because I was like, what do you mean, no thank you, galactic supervisor? Come get your cheerings. Come
Yeah,
get
take your
your
responsibility.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love you. And Jonna, thank you for letting me share that because you didn't have to. But when I saw it on Facebook, I was like, if it will pass your permission, I just want to give that to the Yes You and Friends audience on tonight. So I appreciate you. She did a beautiful job, and I mean,
she did.
really,
Thank you.
and you know me, I always prop the kids. So I feel like they deserve above and beyond when they get out there. And believe it or not, it's not the easiest thing to get in front of people in the crowd and sit down and play. So we're giving it up for her on tonight. Now, as we get ready to, you're welcome. You're welcome. I was happy to share it, Mel. I was happy to share it. And right now, last week, I think we were pushing kids. We had a couple of young people I was talking about that are starting full-blown businesses in the whole 9 yards. So anytime I see something the young people are doing, I get that from my mom and dad because they were big pushers of children. And that's how we turned out the way we are today. Now, as we were coming in tonight, did you all hear the story of the 25 plus people on the boat off of San Diego that were in the boat that capsized? Are any of you all familiar with that story? It's happening even as we speak.
Oh,
No.
Yeah, 3 are pronounced dead already. When I
wow.
it was 2, then it went to 3, and then I saw where they were setting up a makeshift platform there. They're still in the water even as we speak, trying to pull bodies out of the water. The boat capsized, and you saw it, Monica. The boat capsized and split into pieces. So
oh my God.
I know it's really, really tragic, and I'm hoping they're still trying to do recovery, see how many bodies they can get out of the water. But the last thing I heard, because at first they were basically saying they had no idea what was going on. And then the last thing I heard as I was coming into my studio was that they believe it was a smuggling, human trafficking smuggling scenario. So even with that, you almost have to wonder, will they be able to get, how will they know who I was in the boat? There's potentially some that may never get recovered that we won't even know that they're out there in that water. You know what I'm saying?
So this wasn't like a cruise ship, like authorized boat. They're believing it was like people, like human trafficking. So no identification of the people on the boat.
It was a crawler, and it was a large size crawler, but it was jam packed full of people.
Wow.
And I'm kind of wondering if that's what potentially made the weight of the crawler, if it was overloaded, may have caused it to capsize. Because I don't know, because they didn't say.
They said it broke apart.
It did break. I don't know if it broke apart before, but definitely afterwards, you could see where it was just almost decimated out there on the water, and they were trying to pull people out. But so break apart, is that because the fact that it was overloaded? But I also think part of breaking apart too, Rhonda, was it got into shallower water, and that's when it looked like, to me, it sounded like it started breaking up because it was hitting the bottom of the ocean. So,
well, how in the world did the boat's operator be okay, and now he's in custody?
Well,
Because it said there was 30 people pulled from the water, and looking at the size of this boat, that boat broke apart due to the weight of people on it. Like it's not a big boat.
that's a lot of people on the boat.
Yeah.
A lot of
Yes,
people.
that's a lot of people on the boat, and unfortunately, those are the kind of situations where you end up where we ain't even gonna talk about. Was there a life jacket on the boat? Was there any kind of
Wow.
any of that? Now, Rhonda, to your question, I feel like this: the days of go down with the ship are over.
Of course.
These jokers are like every man for himself and God for us all. If y'all drown up in here, it's on you, but I shall not be amongst the dead. That's how I feel about it. When you say, how is he in custody and you got all these dead bodies, honey? Joker probably knew that vessel was in trouble and he got out of Dodge. That's my opinion.
I mean, according to Fox 29, I mean, the boat was known for a smuggling operation, so he was gonna get himself out of Dodge anyway.
He's probably the only life jacket they had on the boat.
Right.
And that's sad, and that's probably the truth. That
So
is,
y'all got on here on your own.
listen, never mind the smaller boat. Monica said, honey, that's a lot of people for a yacht. When you get that many people on it, that's a lot of people. That's a
They
lot.
said they pulled 30 people from the water.
But at the end of the day, it kind of speaks to how hard, if it's smuggling, trying to get people into the country, and what we got going on at the border right now. People are trying by any means necessary, it seems, to try to make their way from point A to point B. And at the end of the day, if that is the case, because this is all alleged, we don't know. And it is still, even as we're going on, unless you all have seen a wrap up. I know when I came in here and sat down at a quarter of, they were still trying to pull bodies out and doing CPR individuals. And like I said, when I started, it was 2 dead, and then it went up to 3 dead. And even as they were doing CPR, you have to kind of wonder how many of those actually survived of the ones that they were doing CPR on. So
Yeah, that's sad. That is really
It is.
Yeah, because like I said, what I was just reading, it said they pulled 30 from the water. 3 was dead, like you reported. But they were still working, and most of them are dealing with hypothermia, and just injuries from the boat breaking apart and injuries from the boat. So, they reported at 3 at that time, but there's no telling what the outcome is going to be for a whole lot of them.
That's tragic. It's really tragic. No, Mel, I didn't hear about the house that had 90 people in it. So you'll have to give me a little update on that one, because I've had a full day and a full weekend. So 90 people, that's a lot of folk.
Yeah, was that a house party?
What happened in the house, Mel?
Well, see, and this is what I talked about this the other day. I can't remember what the storyline was, but I was like, y'all getting all jam packed up with people. You need the stampede. That's what it was. When they went to the holy rites that they were doing, and they were just jam packed up in there, and then all of a sudden something happened and created a stampede and killed all those people that just got trampled underfoot. And I was like, look, I don't care if it's a car on the highway. I don't drive in heavy traffic. When they bumper to bumper and wall to wall, I'm not going to be that one that's going to be, especially driving way too fast. I'm not the one that's going to be jumped up in there. So Mel, you'll have to tell us what happened on that. It was human trafficking in Texas. Okay.
Texas.
Did the house catch on? Everything's big in Texas. Did the house catch on fire? That's
90 people?
That's your state motto. You looked at me like you getting ready to read me or something, Tyrone. But isn't that
No, I know. I was
the Lone Star State?
just saying.
Big in Texas. Yeah, Texas just can't stay off the map. Y'all got crews, which brings me up to another story that came out this evening, and they're talking about the reality of how that case and the cases of but they lived. It looks like if a tip was given, hopefully they're all alive, all 90 of them. That's a whole lot of people in the house.
That's a whole lot of people in the house.
A whole lot of people in it. Johnny, how many can you stand in your house? How many can we get you to 90?
No, what was let me stop right there.
Ron,
it was on the tip of your tongue.
It was.
Rhonda, can we get you to 90?
Girl, you can't get me to 9.
Now, Tyrone, you all have entertained quite a few in your house. You do have a little bit of a larger size house, but still 90 people is a whole lot of people.
We will take in 90.
Oh,
and,
Lord.
and everybody. No, I'm just joking. You can't get us to 9 either.
Oh, Lord Jesus, I'm trying to tell you, it'll be crazy up in there.
Right.
Stacey said one. She's only going to do one.
Right.
Me, myself, and I. One. That's it. That's that at the end of the day. They're saying and talking about how Texas really has done nothing more. And this is in the news this evening as well, because I looked at what was trending right now. They still haven't done anything about the grid. And they're saying that the carbon monoxide deaths in Texas from that freeze was one of the worst carbon monoxide scenarios that they've ever seen. And definitely blaming it on the fact that now this was interesting to me. They said the family was absolutely clueless that they were taking in carbon monoxide. And of course, carbon monoxide can get you very quickly. And even if you survive from carbon monoxide, you can still be really, really jacked up if you live. Are you all of the mindset that people are really that oblivious to the dangers of carbon monoxide? I thought that was pretty well explored and talked about like in the 70s and the 80s when they started making us get the carbon monoxide detectors and all that. And it was talked about quite a bit. Can you have a whole entire family, and I guess for me more the adults, that are just absolutely clueless that carbon monoxide is killing them?
I don't think there's a big push for it. Yeah, I would say yeah.
I
feel
had
like
this discussion with somebody today, as a matter of fact, and I'm like, really?
About carbon?
You are yes, and I'm like, you are grown, and how can you not be aware? You know, seriously.
Wow.
Like I said, I think there was a big push at one point in time for it, and then we came up with like the smoke detectors that would detect your carbon monoxide. But it's not something that, to be honest, that people really talk about anymore. So I can see how people not really being up to par and educated on the effects of carbon monoxide or being able to detect when they could be impacted by it.
Wow.
Because it's honest. To be honest, it's not something that I can't think of the last time I heard somebody talk about carbon monoxide, unless I'm seeing like something on TV where somebody's already passed.
Oh man. Good evening, Mino 3782. Good to have you this evening. Well, I guess I'm just of the mindset that because it did go through that series of years where they were talking about carbon monoxide poisoning, make sure you got your CO2 detector and make sure it's working and I'm just thinking people are not oblivious to the fact that carbon monoxide will kill you. I don't know. Rhonda, what are you thinking?
I'm like Tyrone, during that phase when everybody was talking about it, it made people more aware. But again, if you don't continue to talk about it, they don't know. And like you said, it can kill them without just like that, and they not know because every house still doesn't have a fire detector.
True.
So they definitely don't have a carbon monoxide detector.
But
there's something that around here and probably everywhere how the fire departments will give away and
they
actually
are
set up those, but if you don't keep it before the people, they actually don't think about it.
Wow.
And a lot of them don't even know. Like that's something we talk about knowledge and how we don't have the knowledge. A lot of people don't know that if you go to the fire department, they will install your fire detectors. They will give you, the tools that you need. Most people don't know that.
Wow. Well, they're saying for sure that this particular case that you all had down there and the one that was most known with the whole entire family, I mean, your heart just has to bleed and just, that is just devastating. And yes, go to an autopsy for carbon monoxide because it does do things to the body very seriously. And you just have to think, even in that scenario, the impact of that on your loved ones, and that's just a hard one. But the question for me that begs answering is Texas and its continued refusal to take care of this daggone grid, because y'all remember the grid came up shortly after the turn of the millennium. Then it came up again a few years later, and then and it just keeps coming up again, and people are just dying like pigs to the slaughter. And this state is still doing and got money. This is the thing I got really, really teed off. And I understand it. President Biden. But why are we aiding and abetting and giving money to these? Yes, I know it's the people. But if Texas can slide by and be irresponsible and then turn around and get disaster funds and relief, do we think they're going to fix the grid?
Apparently not.
Not at all. Not at all.
So who stands up for the people? We just gonna keep coming back every so many years talking about that carbon monoxide poisoning death of that family was the worst we've ever seen, one of the worst in history. We're just gonna keep repeating it.
I would say reach out to your local. Reach out to your local congressman.
Y'all ain't gonna say nothing on that one. Y'all ain't gonna say.
No, it's a tough one. It's such a big issue that one would think at this point, especially after all that we went through, and now we're dealing with deaths and things that came along with that it would be like a hot ticketed, item, but it's not. That border is going to take Texas is going to take any attention from anything else going on in Texas for a long time until it decides both parties come together on something. And the border is a hot ticket item right now, and I'm sure they feel like people got electricity and everything seems to be running accordingly. We have one or two one-offs, but that border is what's taking the Texas politicians off right now.
Well, like SK is saying, the Texas politicians are taking money from the energy lobby and giving them a pass on safety. But in the meantime, people are dying. And in the meantime, even though I love you, Texas, I don't want to keep funneling tax dollars down there for something that the state and those in charge refuse to take responsibility for and then continue to get bailed out. I do have an issue with that. Now, I want y'all to be a part of the union and we love y'all, but no more money. If you don't fix the grid, no more money. That's what I say.
And people don't realize it's more than just, it impacts it impacts more than just Texas. When we run out of energy, they're pulling it from y'all.
Oh, absolutely. Now, I didn't get caught in the rolling blackout. They did not do my particular area. Jonna did, I believe, and a lot of did you?
I know Oklahoma did.
Listen, everybody did. Several did. I just happened to be blessed that we didn't get tapped for that 1, 2, 3 hours, and then some of them they were telling them so many hours off, and then they were days without. So, I mean, that's the thing. When we've got to send resources to Texas because Texas won't take care of Texas, and you get money from everybody else, I just think that's dastardly.
Yeah, Texas leadership doesn't believe fat meets greasy, Tyrone. And the people are going to have to make them or wake them up that they're the ones that's being hurt.
Right.
Our leadership doesn't care. They're going to continue to do and whatever they can get away with, and no one's saying anything about it. They're going to continue to do it. It's going to take the people to make them understand we need a change. Texas needs a new leadership. They've totally lost focus of the people.
Oh, I've said that a long time ago.
Yeah, this thing with the weather and stuff, that shows you they didn't care anything about the people.
Right.
People were dying, and where was Crew on the plane going? Where was he going?
Cancun,
getting away. What about the people? What about the people you represent? So it's gonna take the people to rise up and probably take the place of the leadership or put fire up under their feet. But something's got to change.
And the people get caught up in those short-term, what they may see as an advantage, where they put a freeze on our utilities so we wouldn't get, electric bills and things of that nature until they figure things out. But that's not changing anything. Just like with stimulus packages, it's a short-term fix that's not going to give you a long-term outcome. And a lot of
Yeah.
people get caught up in that, that short term. Also, I don't have to pay an electric bill for the next couple of months, but nothing's changing that would impact you to not be in this situation again.
Well, when you're dead, you're not gonna need an electric bill.
Well, there you go.
And while I care about the people, I really, really do, I still feel like, Rhonda, like you're saying, some pressure and power has to come from somewhere. And the only thing, because the people are kind of like, yes, they're going to have to rise up and say, we want to change the leadership. But I think if we stop funneling them emergency funds, now, again, that's going to have a hardship for the people. But if every time you turn around, the federal is going to continue to bail them out, what's going to motivate them to stop? They're not motivated to quit. And they could care less about their constituency. They're already showing that. So at the end of the day, there's going to have to be some pressure coming from some other directions to get this change effective, because the leadership just plain and simply does not care. And they're raking in and rolling in the dough while the people are suffering. John, I see you shaking your head. What are you saying to me?
Same. They raking and rolling in the dough in the heat.
In the heat or the cold, whatever it is.
And if the last situation didn't get it, what is it going to take? I mean, seriously, they gotta go. It's time. The fire's been at the feet. Who cares? They gotta go.
Yeah.
But only the people can do it. So
yeah.
Where you at on it? Because I'm looking at property destroyed, houses just destroyed, roads and water everywhere. It was just too much. People, no place to sleep, dying literally. If that is not enough, what does it take?
And literally trying to get water. I mean, just basic
Right.
stuff. I mean, you we're not talking about anything over the top, just basic stuff. And they saw their people in this condition, and they still feel and do absolutely nothing.
It didn't affect them. Yeah, it didn't affect them. So they just kept on.
Now when he's in Cancun.
Right. And probably with cases of water.
Cases. Teresa, I hear you vote them out. Okay, but we got a vote coming up this year. We got to get through. What happens if we have it this winter like we had last winter? It ain't time to vote yet. Their hunches are still going to be sitting in them chairs, and we still going to potentially have a whole bunch of dead people. So is the only way we can get help is every election cycle? Because in between the election cycle, the people are still suffering. And yes, I agree. Vote them out. I agree 100%. But we're talking about cycles when you talk about elections. And in between all of those cycles, people got to live, and there's nothing you can do. So they've got another season. They've got another winter to be dastardly again before you can even vote them out. So do we just, next season we're going to die again. And then when the election comes up, then we're going to vote them out. I'm like, good Lord, cycles. Voting is in cycles, but we live every day. And if you're in between those cycles, there's absolutely Mel. Mel said, let me take care of the problem.
Oh.
That's a big problem, Mel. You need some help.
Mel, you're going to have to get an SUV. You're going to have to get a bus and just load them all up to get them all. I'm telling you, at the end of the day, we got something that we've got to look to. How do we make changes and differences when we're in the middle of that election cycle? Y'all talk to me, because I really want to understand that. Election cycles, whether it's the 2-year or the 4-year, you still got that in between. What are we going to do in between? Because we can't just suffer for 2 and 4 years.
Well, yeah, you cannot sit on your hands and wait for an election to come around. You can't. Those people still have meetings. They have offices. They have different things. Do like they did what they do. Go and knock on the door. Go and have a rally in front of their office. Say, my voice needs to be heard. And then people get the word out, and it'll grow. The momentum will grow. But let them know, hey, we're coming to your office. We mean business. No more of this business as usual. We need change. And if you don't do it now, somebody will. But don't wait till election time. We got to do it right now.
Yeah, I agree. Sheila and Mel can handle it. I see you, Mel. And that's what I want to push is that something has to happen within the cycle. That's all I'm trying to say. Because if we all take on, we're going to vote them out. But in between those voting cycles, we still got devastation going on with people's lives. And it needs to be addressed, in my opinion. So.
And I will say a big thing and something I've learned through this whole process is just being knowledgeable of what's going on. Because before we went through what we went through, I knew nothing about the grid.
Oh, really?
It wasn't something I was up to par on, and I thought we all got electricity where everybody else got electricity. So it was an awakening for me to say, you really need to be up to speed on what's going on, especially in your state, the state you pay your taxes in, where you live in. So it's really important that we're up to par on, policy and what our states and even other states are doing and going through. So when we say we're going to vote someone out, or when we say, we're pushing this initiative of making change, that we really know what we're talking about and we're up to par. So it was a learning opportunity for me as well.
Yes. And on the grid, this is like third or fourth time round for Texas on this grid scenario, and they just keep doing the same thing, which is nothing. So there you have it. And you do need to know. That's why today one of the posts I put up, out of the Asian hate bill that came out in the Senate, our raggedy Josh Hawley, who was the brother that was seen throwing the signs, the white supremacy signs, the day of the insurrection, he is the only knucklehead that voted against it. And so I posted it today, and a lot of people were surprised because they didn't know. It said it was like whatever the numbers are to 1, but they didn't. And I kept looking till I saw who the one was. I kept searching it back. And when I saw Josh Hawley's name, I could have just hollered. And it just made me mad. So you got to know what's going on in your area, because like I said, they put the numbers out there. But if you don't know who that one was, and that one just happened to be one of yours, you need to know it. You need to know it. So I posted that up big and bold today because I want everybody in Missouri to know this joker needs to go. He needs to go.
Wasn't he the one who lost like a book deal or something?
Yes.
After he was going to. So has anything come of him? Like, are there still things in place to like get him removed, or we just moved on from it?
Everybody's pretty much moved on it. And people are thinking that he's going to try, if Trump doesn't run, that he's going to be one of those front runners that's going to try to run for president. So some of this is why he's trying to cater to this racist base, and he's just making me sick. There's so much I could say about him. That's not what this session is on. I'm gonna let it go. But yes, he's the one. And he did get another book deal, by the way. So there's always somebody out there waiting. Now, this story this evening just tickled me, and I'm going to throw it out here, and I'm going to let y'all chew on it and talk about it. 2 weeks ago, the Justice Department declined to file any criminal charges against the officer that killed. You all remember Ashley Babbitt. She was the woman that was killed in the insurrection. In the insurrection, they shot her and killed her on January the 5th. So the Justice Department did not file any charges. That joker is right, Teresa. He's a joker. At the end of the day, now, as of it was reported to me this evening that her family is now filing a civil suit against the Capitol Police Department and the police officer that was responsible for shooting her for $10 million because they said it was excessive force. And the most that she was doing was breaking and entering. And for him to kill her over breaking and entering, they want their 10 mil.
He felt threatened. That case should be over.
When he told her to stop moving or whatever she was doing, she should have complied.
You were breaking into a building. You were breaking into a building.
A federal building.
You were breaking into you thought it was cute, and then you were done. You were breaking into a building. You're done. I mean, what's there to explain? What's there to talk about?
He was cute in the casket, so it's okay.
Real cute.
Real
cute.
You were attempting to be a part of an insurrection. Hello?
I mean, it's not like she was just sitting in her car following orders from the police. She actually bucked them and they shot and killed her. She
And how
wasn't
do
in
we
her
know what
bed
her plan? What was her
or
plan
anything
once she
like
got
that.
in?
And listen, my whole point is this. How poetic is this? How poetic is this? You are actually trying to be a part and incite a insurrection, and now you want to come back, and they're suing them. They're suing them and upset, and have the right wing in a tizzy because it's excessive force, and the most she should have gotten was trespass. Jonna, tell me how that makes you feel, dear.
It makes me angry. Woo! These lips are loose today. Yeah, it makes me angry. It makes me very angry because how dare you? You know what I'm saying? How dare you even waste time? It pisses me off. It really does.
In a nutshell, pissed. How does that make
Mhm.
you feel, Tyrone? How does that make you feel?
It's crazy. I mean, the fact that we're in even in this situation where there was anyone who broke into the any federal building, you're against the law. And if you were shot, it would be no different than many of us who get shot for the smallest of things, for playing loud music or just walking down the street. And now y'all want to defend her actions. The most she should have got was trespassing. The most she should have got was that bullet she got because she was breaking and entering. We don't know what her plan was when she came through that window. We just caught her before she got it. It's the same thing they say about many of us. He was a threat to me. She was a threat to me, and I had to defend myself. Same thing the officer did. Case closed in my book.
So, Rhonda, how does it make you feel, dear?
Girl and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Look, who took the case?
Who filed it? Who wasted the court's time
Who is
doing the
right?
paperwork?
Because that's who they need to be after, because he need to have his license taken, his lawyer license. Come on. Who
But-
is the lawyer that's filing this case?
But listen, at the end of the day, you know, they could try to do the flip side of the coin and say, if you can talk about excessive force for the crime, we can talk about excessive force for the crime too. And so here we go down the Mulberry,
Right.
around the Mulberry bush
They can
and
say that. They can
of
say
excessive
that.
force. And was this too much force on
But
this
at the
individual?
same time, you can go to any lawyer and you can say blah, 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 and they can tell you up front, I'm sorry, but you do not have a case. Or I'm sorry, I can't take that. Maybe you go to somebody else. Regardless of, you can think, yeah, this is just like what happened over here and what happened over there. The lawyer can still say you do not have a case.
And
Well,
somebody looking up for it, they think this is gonna be a high profile case.
oh yeah.
Looking for a come up. But I want to follow this case because I want to see if they're gonna tear her apart like they tear everybody else apart. Are we gonna find out that she was a porn star? Are we gonna find out that she was out there tricking and selling cigarettes? Are we gonna find out that she aborted several kids and this, that, and the other? I want to see if they're gonna tear her apart the way they try and tear all of us apart when we're just trying to justify you shouldn't have killed us.
Well, at the end of the day, her name is Ashley, ASLHLI Babbitt.
We not even gonna say her name.
Well, if you follow the case, I'm just trying to give you the information. So you now the man that got the cut off wee, was that Babbitt or
That's
Bobbitt?
what girl, I was thinking the
Bobbitt.
same thing.
That's Bobbitt.
Bobbitt couldn't Bobbitt no more. Okay.
I'm like, wait a minute, is that the same? Okay.
When I looked at it, I was like, is this some kinfolk to Mr. Lost Your Little Wee?
Next case.
Crypto music said if you have enough money, you always got a case, and that's the truth. That is.
Are they rich?
I don't know, but this is what I'm looking for.
They're white.
I'm with
And
Tyrell,
female.
white female, and I'm going to watch this case because I feel like potentially they're going to do a quiet settlement behind the scene and pay these people off and keep going. I
Oh,
really do.
I can see that coming.
I think they're going to get paid. They're going to make bank. They're going to make money. They're going to make paper.
You keep us updated.
Yeah.
But they don't understand the precedence that they're setting, the message that they're setting out there. This woman broke into a federal building and she got shot and she was killed.
Yeah. You're right, Stacey. She was ex-military, and that's all
And
because they have that all in here too. They go through all of her career and her military history and how awesome she was and da da da.
so they're building her up.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a build up. It's
So she was almost the Pope.
Listen, she was Jesus' sister come to earth.
She was white and she was female, and that's really all you got to be.
Wow.
And they said she's trying to use the say her name movement.
Oh.
You know what? I'm about to hang up. Oh God.
Wow. That makes it worse right there.
That's crazy.
They're
Yeah.
attempting.
It's a slap in the face.
That's exactly
really
what it is. That's exactly what it is. And so at the end of the day, you know, I wanted to throw that one out. Stacey said, "You don't think they'll settle? You don't think they'll settle?" I don't know. I think they will, because at the end of the day, Stacey, there's something is always rotten in Denmark. That's all I gotta say about it. Because it's like we can push, fight, argue, everything else, and still get nothing. And so at the end of the day, there's still that place of privilege, even when it comes to settlements and payouts and all that kind of stuff. And that's just real. Now, I would hope they don't settle, Stacey, but I'm going to tell you what. And now you said not with Biden Harris, because I'm getting ready to come to something else, because Sister Harris got me a little agitated today, and I'm going to cover that here in a second. So when you get down to it, it's all about politics. It's all about, yes, Popette. Monica, you're silly. At the end of the day, you always still tend to have this leaning towards whatever we need to do to make it right, because it's all about, I'm gonna be real, voters and how the people feel, because the far right is showing they are totally agitated and they're behind this whole push that they ought to be able to get the same. I mean, it's the same thing when you get down to they got this, but we don't get it. Even the reverse discrimination. You're talking about they've been discriminated against. Now you're discriminating against us, and all of that craziness. So there's always that attempt to twist it around to become the victim. Do you all agree or disagree?
That I agree with, yes.
Absolutely.
Always.
It's like a deflection.
Yeah.
You know, to keep your own dastardly deeds out of the spotlight. So you start talking all kind of yak about it, everything else.
All right, always. And what's good for the goose is good for the gander, more or less. If y'all got away with it and you said excessive force, we're going to try to do it too. And they're not turning around killing you every time you turn around. We still apprehend young white men with guns and armed that have just mowed people down and killed them. And we're still able to apprehend them with no incident. We're still able to do all kinds of crazy stuff that you see the stark difference between black skin, brown skin, and white skin. It's still, we still got all that going on. Now, that being said, I know y'all gonna really be mad at me, but listen, Kamala done made me pissed. She done pissed me off. I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna say it.
What'd she do? You ain't like her outfit?
Oh boy.
I'm not going to take that as a sexist statement, because just
there's not a sexist statement. I was just joking.
It sound like women overreact, they over respond, they're always emotional, they always go over the top, and now I'm pissed because I didn't like her outfit.
I didn't say that.
You trivialized my femininity by implying that it was going to be something real stupid. And that's all I'm gonna say about that.
Okay, what did Kamala do?
What happened?
Here we go. I'm going to roll this beautiful bean footage because at the end of the day, Miss Harris have 2 seats. Here we go. Now, we talked about Tim and we rode Tim the other day. Monica, don't be dead. I'm the resurrection and the life. Get up. Now, so at the end of the day, woo! At the end of the day, I want you to look at this beautiful bean footage and tell me why I have a problem.
Get called Uncle Tom and the N-word by progressives, by liberals. Believe me, I know firsthand our healing is not finished. 100 years ago, kids in classrooms were taught the color of their skin was their most important characteristic. And if they looked a certain way, they were inferior. Today, kids are being taught that the color of their skin defines them again. And if they look a certain way, they're an oppressor. From colleges to corporations to our culture, people are making money and gaining power by pretending we haven't made any progress at all. Hear me clearly. America is not a racist country.
I disagree. Okay, but here's the interesting thing about Tim Scott's rebuttal. Clearly, Tim didn't get a hold of Joe Biden's speech beforehand because Biden didn't really focus on race. He didn't say America was a racist country. I mean, Biden is the same person that whenever there is blatant racism, he says, this is not America. I mean, but he didn't really focus on race in his speech. About an hour and some change into his speech, he spoke briefly about the death of George Floyd and how he wanted to rebuild trust between law enforcement and the people they serve. And Biden did say he wants to root out systemic racism in our criminal justice system, but that's about it. So for Tim Scott to take his ass on TV and tell all these white people that America is not a racist country is a slap in the face to all of us in the lower caste system. Tim, your West African ancestors who came through Gapson's Wharf in Charleston, South Carolina are rolling over in their shallow graves. Tim Scott said kids are being taught that the color of their skin defines them again. Tim, when did it stop? Okay, when has there been a time in America when people have not been defined by the color of their skin? Tim, you said progressives call you the N-word. You know why they call you the N-word? For no other reason than the color of your skin. I mean, it almost feels like discussing slavery, Jim Crow segregation, mass incarceration, the war on drugs, all the data and research that have extensively documented the ways in which Black people are underrepresented in everything that matters and overrepresented in everything that's wrong. All the extensive data that documents the different treatment Blacks experience, than whites. It feels like even saying that is silly because you know that, okay? It's racial disparities in America in wealth, education, employment, homeownership, healthcare, incarceration, and it's all because of America's original racist sin, slavery. But Tim, you know that. You just on TV trying to appease Republican white voters, and that is exactly what our Madam Vice President Kamala Harris did yesterday too, when she said virtually the same thing when she was asked about Tim Scott's comments on Good Morning America. Listen.
Well, first of all, no, I don't think America is a racist country, but we also do have to speak truth about the history of racism in our country and its existence today. And I applaud the president for always having the ability and the courage, frankly, to speak the truth about it. He spoke.
I don't think I can take anymore. I was going to play the whole thing, but I just can't. I can't do it. Let me stop the screen share. I can't do it. For all of the struggle and all of the fight that we do to get people to understand how we are still impacted by systemic racism, how we are still fighting the struggle. Yes, Teresa, that's what she said. And I'm trying to hold my tongue because she about to make me cuss. For all of the people that we have down through the years fought to get them to understand, we finally get here to a place where after George Floyd, we think we got a little bit of leeway and some daylight. And this woman sits her hips. I'm just pissed. She sits her hips in front of the national medium and tells them there is no racism in America. I'm pissed. I'm pissed. We've done too much hard work to get somebody up here to sit up here and tell these people that there's no racism in this country. I'm pissed.
So let me ask, because I didn't hear the whole statement.
She said there is no racism in America. If you didn't hear anything else, she said that. I'm not going to play the rest of the interview of her walking and trotting around because you would rather cater to these voters that you think are going to put you back in office and you don't want to upset people. You'll sit up there and tell a bold-faced, blatant lie like that so that the people that already are teetering on the fence that don't believe it and they're kind of starting to wonder. And so the headway that we made, you just destroyed it right there. Sit down and shut up. That's how I feel about it. And I'm going to let y'all talk.
So, could it have been a poor choice in words where I don't feel she was saying there's no racism in America?
There is no racism in America. That's what she said in response to Tim Scott having said there's no racism in America. And she came back and reiterated that point again.
I feel, again, not seeing the whole thing, that she acknowledges that there is racism in America. But I feel due to her position, because I heard her say America is not racist. And I could be wrong. So it could be
America is not a racist country was the question. That was the answer that, listen, I see y'all going crazy over there in the chat. At the end of the day, she was asked to give a response back to Tim Scott. And that was the exact crystallized moment that if she had just opened her Black and Asian lips and told the truth, it could have made a difference. But instead of saying the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, we saw politics in motion so that she could say what was appeasing and okay to white America. And you sat there and lied and you sold Black people down the street, as far as I'm concerned. That was your perfect chance. Uh-oh. And you sold Black people down the street, as far as I'm. Sorry about that. I hit my.
It was worth repeating.
Instant replay. And I'm saying we put all of this hope and all of these dreams and all of this whatever, and you got up there in the exact, and that's why they asked her the daggum question. That's why they asked her the question. And instead of her represent, and then so let me go here. Now I love everybody, but how come we got an AAPI hate crime Asian bill and we still ain't got nothing for Black people?
And the bill came quickly.
In a matter of
quickly.
And we've been fighting, we've been scratching, we've been struggling, we've been doing everything. And when you turn around, next thing you know, you got a bill that passed everybody but one person, and we still can't get anything for Black people. Then we put you up here to respond to this man's blatant lie. And the only thing you can say is there's no racism in America. Sit down and shut up.
So back to the question we had earlier. How do we get her out before the next election?
She ain't going nowhere because you got a cycle. But this is the thing that I feel, and this is the thing, y'all can say whatever you want to say. I'm going to leave it to y'all. At the end of the day, I'm like, for the perfect opportunity for her to stand up and say something for the Black community, that was it. And she blew it on purpose. That wasn't no accident. She knows there's racism in America. She blew it on purpose.
I feel it's a play on words, and again, people you can disagree with me. I feel she knows there's racism in America. I feel she was saying America is not a racist country. And because when you say America's racist, we're grouping all of us Americans into it. We can say black people are thieves, and we will say, all black people aren't thieves, but there is some thievery in the black community, in all communities. I'm just using that as an example. So I feel, even though it didn't come across the way we wanted it to come across, she wasn't in a position to say America is racist.
And why was she not?
And I feel, but I don't feel that she's saying that there's not racism in America. She ran off of that. Her and Joe ran off of that.
Hold that.
So I don't think it's good to say America is racist.
So now I'm gonna go on what you just said and why my blood is boiling. It's just boiling because she ran out for that to get black people, and then you turned right back around and sold us down the river. Sit your tail down. Because that's why black people voted for you, not only because of the color of your skin and the intelligence and everything else you brought to the table, but we voted for you if we thought that you were going to stand up for the black experience and finally bring something to the American table that says we've got to do right by black people. And then you turn around and make a statement like that. I want to take all of my votes back.
I'm gonna let my friend speak. I don't know.
She said, and as Stacey said earlier, she said it twice.
I am stunned somewhat. We can't get past it's something that we won't acknowledge. You understand what I'm saying? We at this point, we got to dig in deep. America is racist. It was built on racism.
Never stopped being racist. It's still racist.
It's still racist, and it is fighting to maintain its racism. So I don't know, Lala. I can't ride with you on that, sis.
How much did she set us back for all the work that we did? She stood there, and I'm going to tell you, because they're going to look and say, there was a good black woman, and she even said that America isn't racist. She even said America's not racist.
That's unbelievable.
Rhonda?
Yes.
Rhonda ain't gonna say nothing, and she can't. She has a certain level in the Democratic Party.
Don't ever say Rhonda can't. Don't ever say Rhonda can't, because Rhonda can do
I'm saying
Rhonda do.
We're gonna give you a pass on that one.
No, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go listen again for myself, so
Please
I can come from my conclusion of what happened, and then at the same time I'm gonna be researching, because as hot as you are about it, there's got to be some other black folks just as hot. And I want to hear what they're saying and what they're doing. But before I comment, I want to know for myself what was actually said and how it was all brought into part. And give me time. I will comment.
And I appreciate you for doing that. And yes, the black Twitter, the black papers, the black blogs, it is smoking. And I feel rightfully so. Sit yourself down. And
so are we mad and we're canceling her?
I'm not at a loss for words, man. I'm not at a loss. I just have to come to my own conclusion.
Tyrone, to me, it's not even such a matter of canceling her from the standpoint of anything other than our hope and our goal. So much of what got us through 2020 and all the racial injustice that we endured in that one little small year. Yes, we've had injustice the whole time, but that one little small year, we had so much energy and hope and expectation that she was going to bring something to the table for black and brown skin, and for her to come right on the heels of this brother. And the reason why they asked him, he's the only black that's in the Senate in that position. So they had him on the Republican side. They had him give the rebuttal so that they knew he was going to get up there and talk out of both sides of his neck. And so then he gets up and makes the statement that he makes. Then they come right behind the very next day after he makes that statement in one of her interviews and asked her point blank blunt to respond to that comment. I'm gonna play it one more time, and this is what she said, and I'm gonna try to be calm and play it out because I got so mad. I just almost can't stand to hear her voice. I'm just that irritated because at the end of the day, the damage, because people are gonna take her word as a black woman. And as a black woman in politics at the height and level that she is seated, and they're going to take her words, and that's going to, she set us back. That's all I got to say about her. I wish to God she did. Oh my God, she should just said nothing. Oh, I can't take it. My blood pressure's up 500 degrees.
Well, first of all, no, I don't think America is a racist country, but we also do have to speak truth about the history of racism in our country and its existence today. And I applaud the president for always having the ability and the courage, frankly, to speak the truth about it. He spoke what we know from the intelligence community. One of the greatest threats to our national security is domestic terrorism manifested by white supremacists. And so these are issues that we must confront. And it does not help to heal our country, to unify us as a people, to ignore the realities of that. And the idea is that we want to unify the country, but not without speaking truth and requiring accountability as appropriate.
Well, if you speak in truth, you can't start off by saying,
okay. And to piggyback on what he's basically going to do, because listen, this is all over. This is all over the internet, y'all. Rightfully so. If you're going to speak the truth, the first thing, you can't start off with a lie.
Correct.
Speak the truth.
America is not a racist country. What?
You can't start off with a lie and then try to legalese and lawyer yourself around and talk in a way so that point blank blunt, Kamala, is America a racist country? Point blank blunt, America is not a racist country. Boom. Now all the rest of that, that didn't matter. Jonna, I'm telling you, it didn't matter. All they heard was her very first sentence. Jonna, I'm just saying, you talking all around in circles.
Right, Rebel.
Come on, Crypto. Listen, she made me speak in tongues. You hear me? Because them tongues, those are unknown tongues. Those are unknown tongues to any black person that can recognize we've been in this country for over 400 plus years, and racism has never left and never let up one iota, 1 inch. And then you get up there and say some bull crap like that. I'm going to give you some tongues. Start off lying.
So I take it she doesn't have your vote next election?
I hope that somebody decent runs.
Okay.
Because I'm done with her. And all the labor and all the effort and all the bloodshed and all the mess that we've been through in this country, trying to push this country forward with race relations, and you get up and say some stuff like that. I want to see the next candidate, please.
Okay.
And we still ain't passed hate crimes. We couldn't pass the lynching law. We couldn't pass the anti-lynching law. But the Asian Crimes Act, and I love my Asian brothers and sisters, a matter of weeks, and we got a whole daggum law against it. And black people are still fighting, and then you bring your hips out here and say something like that.
Oh, Crypto, I'm not getting into that question. I'm not getting into that question.
What about those Chiefs? That's what Monica said. What about those Chiefs?
Whoa.
Well, beloved, as you can tell, I'm done. Stick a fork in me. I'm done. So unless they got something else to say, my friends, I'm going to let y'all have the wrap up and we out of here because I'm so pissed and angry that she parted her lips to say that. I just ain't got nothing else to say. Marie, thank you for coming out tonight. We're so glad to have you. I'm sorry you got me on my rant and rave, and I'm not normally crazy and all off the chain and unhinged, but that Johnny, she took me over the edge. But I'm so glad that you're here. I'm so glad that you're here. We tell it like a T-I-Z-Tis. No cream, no sugar. We take this coffee strong and black because we tell it like it T-I-Z-Tis, even if it's black folk. And that's what I want us to understand. I'm not just talking. Now, y'all remember last week, y'all was going crazy on Tim Scott.
I don't remember that.
We were?
Oh, maybe it was in my OQ. But yeah, we went forth on Tim Scott. We went forth on Tim Scott.
He's a different kind of black.
That wasn't
well, she done said the same thing. So what's the difference? She said she opened and parted her lips. Okay. Now go ahead and give it out. Johnny, give us your clothes, dear.
Well, my first observation is do not piss the spiritual thought leader off because she will let your ass have it.
Whoa, Nelly.
And I'm here for it. I have enjoyed every syllable of it tonight. I want to go on record. I'm going to say I heard what she said. Now, I don't need a replay, but she said I heard what she said the first time, and it was a big steaming ass sack of bullshit, and I cannot believe it came out of her mouth. Okay, Kamala. Okay.
And if I tell the truth, what you all see in Passion is hurt. I'm hurt.
Yes, absolutely.
That this black woman got up there and said that. I'm just devastated. Mm-hmm. I just can't even believe she formed her lips to say it. My heart is crushed. I'm hurt. But yes, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut y'all.
No, that's okay. Because it is hurtful, especially because the people who rallied around you the most, the people who pushed and pressed and, we've been through the last year has been hell. And then what? That was ridiculous. Stand your ground. You know where you live, you know where we are. You know what we've been through, and you know what we still have to do. So I don't know what damage her words will do. Hopefully we can continue with the same momentum that we've had. I don't know, but let this be a good lesson in watching your mouth. And we don't have to kiss anybody's ass.
The pinkest part.
The pink. I was debating on that. The pink part. We don't have to do it. Okay? They're killing you in the street. They've been doing it, and it continues. So she can miss me with that BS. I don't want to hear it. And that's all I got.
And I will say this just to interject. because I was very cautious about saying a lot during the election time because we want all the momentum we can get. A lot of Californians, which is where she was from, would not vote for her because she said she was the most atrocious as far as sending black men to prison, and they would not vote for her. They didn't have anything good to say about her. So at the end of the day, I didn't repeat any of that during the election cycle because I wanted her to be able to move and show how she operates and moves on her own merits. But if that's the way she's gonna move, miss me, goodbye. Tyrone, your final thoughts.
Well, I'm gonna say, because I'm sure a whole lot of us voted her in, before we cancel her out, give her a chance. I truly believe that it was just a poor choice of words. I know she feels that there's racism in America, and that is what this country is built on. So before we cancel her and discredit her for who she is and what she brings to the table, let's give her a chance. I'm sure people are addressing her with her comments, and she's gonna make this right. Give her a chance before we dismiss her, because at the end of the day, we voted her in, and whether we did our research or not, what she did prior to this, we gave the okay for her to be there. So give her a chance, because we could have Trump, and he could say a whole lot more. So before we cancel her off of this comment and do all that we can do as a people to someone, let's give her a chance to right or wrong, because we all make mistakes. Even angels learn how to fly. So let's give her that chance, okay?
I will
to
say
my people
that she is a very educated woman, and she calculated her words before she answered, and she said what she said. I hear you. And I'm
and
not,
She's the vice president of the United States. We don't
what
have
does
the
that
time for a
mean?
poor
Does that mean
choice of words.
she's not human?
No,
Does
it
that
means
mean
she's the
and
vice
we
president of the
don't
United
what does that
States in
mean?
a
You're giving her a
racially
title and
charged
you
climate, and we
you're
don't
giving her
have
a title and
time
saying she
for
can't be
her to
human
say
and have a poor choice of words.
she
she's not,
cannot.
she's not ignorant. She's not slow. She's not.
Okay. So once they get
What
that
she said.
title,
She
they
knows what
don't
she
make
said.
mistakes. But
She knows
we haven't seen
it
that for
wasn't a
the
mistake.
hundreds of years of presidents that we have.
It wasn't a mistake. She said what she said on purpose, which is why I'm so
And
offended. She wasn't just running off at the mouth and it slipped out.
okay.
She was answering
Again,
a direct question, and she chose to open that line and that statement with what she said.
for me,
Wow.
I don't know the full context. I haven't seen the whole thing. I'm only going off what I saw, and I feel in my heart that she knows that there's racism in this country. I feel it was a poor choice of words,
Okay.
and this is a huge cult. This is a huge cancel culture that we live in right now. So I'm saying to the people, because this whole situation could have gone a whole lot different. We could still have Trump in office, and it'd be a whole nother situation. Let's give her a chance before we cancel her. That's all I'm saying.
Amen. Amen. And when people show you who they are, believe them. Miss
You
Wanda,
just took the words right out of my
when
mouth.
people
But
show you who they
anyway,
are, believe them.
I was gonna say that, but at the same time, I'm getting ready to make my final comments, and my final comments are my comments. So whether you agree with them or not, I don't need you attacking me because of my comments and my
And I won't.
feelings.
Yes, ma'am.
And so I was going to say the same thing. When people show you who they are, believe them. At the same time, we're going to see what it's all about. Now, Mel, normally I agree with you, but I do not agree with you on that last statement that all Democrats are not for us, because we cannot lump everybody into one pot. I run as a Democrat. I'm a Democrat, and I do care about the people. So we can't lump everybody in there and say they're not for us. But when people show you who they are, we've got to believe them. She's going to have an opportunity to make it right. She's going to have to come and make it right. She's going to have to, because that was a statement that has apparently upset a lot of people. And she should have been prepared for it, because she should have known it was coming, especially after Tim Scott said what he said. And so she's going to have to come forward and make it right. It's very hurtful. So I understand how everybody is feeling. And we just got to see what comes forward. I'm like SK said earlier, her sisterhood is probably already coming for her. With the AKs, they're gonna tell her what she said and how it come across and what blah 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 blah. But something's got to be done. Something's got to be. It's got to be made right. I hope it's gonna be made right. If not, we'll definitely know who she is and what she's about.
Mm-hmm.
But we're just gonna have to wait and see. Yeah, it was very, very hurtful, very sad that she said that like that, and it's terrible. And I'm just sitting here shaking my head because I don't know what else to say. But when people show you who they are, believe them. But then that's again, we can't put all our eggs in the basket. You know, we're gonna get Kamala in there. They're gonna do this and they're gonna do that and they're gonna do that. Who said?
Right.
Who said?
Right.
Try. You know what? We can't do that. Putting all in the basket of a man, a basket of a woman, and expect them to work miracles. And the truth will come out once you get to where you're trying to get.
Vice President Harris.
It's gonna come out. So,
Yeah.
And as a politician, they gonna say whatever to get your vote, and then once they get in there, you're gonna see the real side, the real truth. So let's just kind of wait this one out and see what's going to be said and what's going to be done.
And there you have it. That's my friends, and they speak their minds and they speak their truth. And I love it that they do it. I appreciate everybody that came in my chat and you spoke your truths and you spoke your thoughts. And I hope that today's edition of Yes, You with Friends has put something on your mind, because listen, we're not going to just passively sit by and stand by and watch life pass us by. We're going to participate and we're going to change what needs to change. And as was said, when people show you who they are, believe them, don't play games with it. And then let's sit down and figure out what needs to happen and how are we going to move from here. So as we move forward, and I hope that, as my friends have said, and they got faith that she's going to walk that thing back. I hope she does. I pray that so much damage hasn't been done already that it's irreparable. But we just gonna now. This is what we're gonna pray about it, because listen, we gonna need God to intervene on some of this. We gonna need Jesus to intervene on some of this. So keep your ears open, keep your eyes open. We're watching to see if Sister's family is gonna get 10 million for excessive force. I'm telling you, keep praying for the families of those that have been recovered and are being recovered out of the water out there in San Diego. At the end of the day, I'm telling you, like Rhonda Royal always says, if you don't deal with it, it will deal with you. I'm glad for everybody that came in and joined us today. And I definitely want you to have peace for your journey.